Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you probably came for Vlogmas, or I picked you up on the 25 days of planner tips, and welcome to the hot mess. If you're coming back here, you know. So I'm kind of doing an introduction, and then I'm also doing a Q&A. I put up on my community page here on YouTube and over on my Instagram some question boxes. You could ask me anything, and I'm going to answer some of them. Some of them are personal, some of them are planning. So that sounds good. Hang out. So welcome. My name's Beverly. I do things planner related, and we are nothing but a hot mess over on this channel. It's what I do. I am a wife, a nurse, a mother, a grandmother, and yeah, I like to plan. I started doing this hobby on Instagram and YouTube probably 2022-ish. Very inconsistently. And then I started posting regularly, like at the end of 2023, and then like increase that over 2024. I am an OG bullet journaler. Came into the planner community bullet journaling a long time ago, probably around 2018, 19, just in the fact that I discovered there was a whole community. I've planned since I was a teenager, and you got that little thing at school. Well, they didn't really even give us that. It was like a booklet, like a monthly booklet or something, or the teachers would hand us out like printed out calendars of like when stuff was due on a Xerox machine. Okay. I do have notes because, you know. Let's see. How old are you? Oh, one. Where do you live? I live in Florida. I live in a very small town in Florida. Lived here almost all my life. How old are you? Old enough to know better. I am in my later 40s. So take with that what you will. Are you married? Yes. How long have you been married? 20, going on 20, well, we've been together 27 years. Been married, well, this is 20, going on 25 years. So, do you have any kids? Yes. I have 3 children. Our oldest is my stepdaughter, but I've had her since she was 3. And then I have a middle child, she's a girl, and my baby is a boy. And they're all grown. The youngest one is 22. So they're all grown. I have 2 grandchildren, and yeah, the last one's going into kindergarten next year. So there's that. Where else am I? 4. Oh, okay. So, what do I do? Well, I'm a nurse. And the other question was, what do I do and where do I work? So I'm a nurse. I do utilization management. I'm fixing to change jobs, but that's a little more complicated. So, I've been doing utilization management for a while now. After 2020, I left bedside, and because we all know burnout, and I was really burnout. I also had COVID multiple times, and I ended up a horrible diabetic, and high blood pressure and anxiety and the whole thing. So I left. I've been working from home since then, and yeah, there's days I like it, there's days I not. I am a person that needs interaction every once in a while, and this channel does help with that. So, and oh, where do I work? I work for the government. at an agency in healthcare, I'm gonna let you work that out. They don't, you know, the government be iffy. So, you know, I'm not gonna come out and say it. Oh, what is your brand of neurospiciness? So one of the things I talk about on here is that I am neurospicy. I have anxiety, depression, and ADD. I was diagnosed as an adult with ADD. I also have a little OCD, but yeah, so I deal with that. I also recently went through perimenopause and ended up with a hysterectomy because of it, and on a hormone replacement therapy. The only reason I bring that up is because the next question was, how is HRT going? It's going great because I feel a lot better. Yeah, so that helps a lot. How does planning help with your neurospiciness? So for me, it's a way to get my thoughts out of my head, where they're very jumbled and running very fast. Even my writing is completely sloppy because my brain is on to the next word before I can even get that one out. When my OCD and anxiety is very bad, I'm able to make lists, organize things, feel like I have some sort of control in my life, and that helps. It also lets me see a big picture of what I need to do, and I'm able to plan smaller details, which I am not good at. I'm not good with the small details. I'm a big picture person, so I have to actively work at getting those small details down, and then even the small details have to be like a checklist. I have to write them all down, because if I don't write it down, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not. Once it's out of my head, I think it goes away sometimes. That has a lot to do with my ADD and my hormones. So anyways, that's how planning helps me. It really helps me clear out my brain, and I don't fixate on things, because I have a tendency to fixate on something until I can get it down and I know that I can trust the system that I have. If you watched my 25 days of planner tips, I say, you know, planner hopping gives me anxiety. It absolutely does, because my brain has to trust the system that I have, and to know that I'm going to be able to find that information later, or that information is safe somewhere and my brain can forget about it safely, because if not, it'll just keep going around in my head. I hope that explains it. Oh, can you talk about your weight loss? So after 2020, I ended up with COVID. After I ended up with COVID, I ended up a horrible diabetic. January of that year, I had great labs. Around June, May, June, I did not have great labs, blood work. They were very bad, very, very bad. And the only thing that changed between there and there was COVID. Flipped a switch, caused autoimmune diabetes, and I ended up on an insulin pump and like 4 blood pressure meds. So dealing with all of that and burnout after 2020 in healthcare was it was something. So anyways, I had to make drastic life changes. So in 2022, I ended up with gastric bypass. I'm still diabetic, but I'm off all my blood pressure medicine. All right, sorry. I was going to pause, or you're just going to watch me hack up along. It's horrible right now. This Florida be off its rocker with the weather. But anyways, so in 2022, I had the gastric bypass. I'm off all of my blood pressure medication. My diabetes is well controlled. I still have to monitor it. I wear CGM. and that's a continuous glucose monitor. I still have to be cognizant of what I eat. Wow, it really doesn't start until you start filming, all right? I told you, hot mess. But I am trying to pause and you not watch me cough up a lung. But anyway, I have to be cognizant of what I eat between my diabetes and my gastric bypass. I don't handle sugar well, so I do a lot of low carb. I'm not perfect, but I do, I cannot consume a lot of sugar or carbs within one setting without paying a price. So if I'm going to pay the price, it has to be worth it. But my weight loss, I ended up losing over 100 pounds. And yeah, I ended up reactive hypoglycemic, which caused me to lose more weight, mixed with my diabetes. I had to really cut back for like a year. Now I'm able to kind of handle carbs in smaller doses, but I still have to, like, it has to be worth it for me to deal with the high blood sugars and the ups and downs for me to eat it. So that's a little bit about my weight loss. I was going to the gym in 2023. 2024, I ended up taking most of that year off. The hormones were horrible. Perimenopause was awful. In September, I ended up having a hysterectomy and going on hormone replacement therapy. I feel better, and I really am ready to go back in the gym and get things done. Not for weight loss, but for like strength. And I'm tiny. I'm a Polly Pocket. I'm under 5 foot. So I really don't want the osteoporosis. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that was all of that. I think that's all the personal questions. If there's anything else you want me to talk about personally, I'm pretty open on this channel. It really doesn't bother me. You can put it down below and I'll either answer you, or if there's enough interest, I'll do a video on it. But either way. Okay, so on to planning. Why did I change from bullet journal to rings? I was tired of rewriting my bullet journal. I used a Stalogy B6, and I had a B6 and a B6 weeks. I tried at the end of 2022, right after my gastric bypass, I was in a Hobonichi weeks. And it was the most consistent I had been in a Hobonichi weeks ever. I usually carried a Hobonichi weeks in my purse just as like a calendar, but I really didn't do much with it, if anything. But I always had one. So I moved into it full time in like August of 22. Very consistent all the way through the end of the year. Then in 2023, because I wanted to go to 2 days on a page, I figured they would last me about 3 months, 3 to 4 months. So I bought like 3 Hobonichis for 2024, 3 Hobonichi weeks, megas. And that was in 2022, I had a mega. But when I got in it, it just wasn't enough. So I ended up giving those away or trying to use them, but not really to any success. I ended up seeing Doc Sheena have a B6 Stalogy cut down to a weeks. And I said, bet, because I had been a B6 Stalogy person forever. So I cut one down, turned it into a weeks. Actually, I think I ordered like the first 2. Then I had them cut down. But I turned them into weeks and I used them. And I was in B6 weeks forever. But still, a Stalogy would only last me about 3 months. I hated, at that point, moving things over. Now, in October of 2023, I had a month where I went through almost an entire B6 Stalogy in a month. And I was like, this is not a way to live. So I tried personal wide rings. I had in the past, off and on, done personal wide rings. It's not that I never did rings. I would jump in and out, but I did that kind of like I did bullet journaling at the beginning of this year. Mainly rings, trying to jump in and then jumping right out of bullet journaling. So the opposite. So I started off in a B6 or personal rings because I used to have personal rings because it fit a B6 Stalogy in it. And I would just cut up the Stalogy, punch it, and put it in when I jumped into a rings, historically. But I said, you know, this is just too wide. So then I went to A6, then I went to personal. And I stuck with personal mostly last year. I kept trying to jump into a bullet journal. But I just, every time I would go in, it just wouldn't fit because I knew that I would have to rewrite things I wanted to keep. I was tired of having to go and look at last quarter's book for information I needed this quarter. If it was a list that I really needed, I hated writing it over and over again. If it was, I got tired of writing it or drawing out my layouts or whatever. So I tried rings and it stuck. If you were here for any amount of time in February, I burnt my whole system to the ground. I had a little pocket calendar and a memo pad, and I just planned on it for like a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And it kind of showed me what I needed. Like, it dumbed it down so far that I was like, okay, this isn't going to work, but it can kind of calm everything down and reset my brain. And I knew at that point what I needed. And it really was personal rings. I like, when I did the thing, my video of what March ended up being, I was not expecting it to be personal rings. I was fully expecting to go back to Stalogy. I had sold all my personal ring covers. All I had was a Chic Sparrow that I put rings in. Like, I really did get rid of everything. I also last year sold everything else. All my Weeks covers, all my A6 covers, all my B6 covers. I sold everything. The only thing I have now is personal rings and those Chic Sparrows. That's all I got left. Oh, and I have a Moterm B6 Plus cover, but I had put rings in that on jelly. I attached some rings to a jelly cover and stuck it in there and used that for a little while. So I was still using it as rings, but I didn't want to get rid of it. I had it so long, and it's really, like, it has the brown lining. I've had it, like, it was one of the first bed stands that came out. So I didn't want to get rid of it. But anyway, yeah. I just got tired of writing. I got tired of doing layouts. I got tired of switching up a book every, quarter. I got and rings in the past is not stuck, but this time it has stuck, and I don't have to I don't have to go reference information. I can keep a list as long as I want. I can keep months as long as I want. I can take stuff out, put stuff in. I can rearrange it in the rings. I can change up my whole system. I can try different inserts for weeks. I can 2 days a page, 1 day a page, whatever. I'm not archiving, or like, I don't really archive. I keep my months, but I threw away all my other bound planners that I'd kept over the last year or so. I just threw them all away this year because I really wasn't looking at them. And yeah, I don't have to keep like grocery lists I write in my planner. I can just take it out and throw it away. It's just, it made the most sense to me. Do I use washi and stickers? Yes, I do. Not consistently, but I do. I also try to be a sticker person. Functional stickers, Peanuts Planner Co. sticker, emoji things. I try to do that consistently. I'm not good at it. Mainly because I have my ADD. If it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And when I say out of sight, I mean like in a pocket in the front of my planner. I'll never pull it out. I'll forget because my brain is so far ahead. I've already planned out my week. I didn't use any of the stickers. Like, I think after I plan or do a plan with me, it's like, damn, I should have got my stickers out. But I never think of it. But I try to be. But am I really? No. Washi more than anything. I will do washi consistently, regularly. Not consistently, regularly. What's your favorite insert? 148 from Peanuts Planner Co. If you watch my Techo Kaye, whatever, I used 148 almost pretty regularly this year, almost consistently. Popping in and out of it, but some others, but like it was, if I got tired, like one insert didn't work, I'd go back to 148. I'd try a different insert, I go back to 148. 148 from Peanuts Planner Co. After that, blank Stalogy paper or blank Tomoe River paper in my rings. Loving that. Can I do a video on putting rings in my Chic Sparrows? Yes, I will do one of those for Vlogmas. How do you stay so consistent? It's hard. It's hard. It's so hard. I get the FOMO all the time. You don't see it, but I do. I'm like, I could sell everything I have and just go back to an A5 Han, or, you know, I really wanted a Han. I was fawning over them Hans last year. Pocket. I really want Pocket to work, but my writing is just too small. And I went up in size this year to Franklin Covey Compact. That's why I went with the Luxe planners, because they hold the Franklin Covey Compact without adding too much bulk. That I already had one of these for personal, and I was using it, and I was like, well, let me get as much, you know, square footage or square inches or acreage out of my inserts as I can. So I went up to Franklin Covey Compact, and I love it. That extra little, it's quarter, half inch, it's making all the difference in the world. It's basically standard, just shorter, because this Tomoe River paper that I have, as for my dailies, which I need to get another book, honestly, oh, all my stuff's falling out. This Tomoe River paper I have is a standard that I thought was going to work, that did not, and I just cut it enough to take the binding off, just like shave it, punch it, cut the top off of it, and it's personal or Franklin Covey Compact size. So, or it fits in here and it goes well with the Franklin Covey. Is it exact? I don't know. I didn't measure it, but that's what I do for my dailies, and I love it. So, but how do you stay so consistent? I don't think I answered that. See, ADD. It's hard. It's really like, I just have to talk myself off a ledge a lot. Stuff will ride in my Amazon cart or in my carts for months. Take it out, put it in, take it out, put it in. If I can stop myself from impulse buying it, if I can break that connection, I can usually get over it. I can reason, you know. I do keep a list of every planner I've tried. So I have a list for B6, I have a list for weeks, and I have a list for A5. I have, I threw away my list for A6 rings. It just wasn't big enough. But I did A6 at like 103% or something. Like I blew it up like 105%. So it was bigger A6 than, because the A6 Luxe will hold that. So I did bigger than A6, so it wasn't like I never did a true A6. I never did a true pocket. I did A6 at 86%, which is like a pocket plus plus. So, yeah. But I kept those lists of why they worked, how they worked, and how they didn't work. I review those, and I'm like, I can usually talk myself out of it. I'm going to say 98% of the time. because I can remember, like when I'm looking at the Han, I'm like, I'm not going to carry that A5 around. I am the person that don't give a shit about carrying mine around. I take this chunky planner everywhere I go. I call it my emotional support planner. It goes everywhere with me. It rides in the car with me, on my lap. When I'm not driving, you know, I take it to the stores with me. It sits open in my buggy. I go to the doctor's office. I pop this thing out and I ask questions. Like, I use this so consistently and so regularly that I think you just have to train yourself. I had to train myself. And it's very hard, honestly. And then I think about all the planners I would have, or the covers I would have to sell. And then I think about all the money that I have in my covers. And I think about, which I'm going to be honest, probably my most expensive one. I could call today and somebody would take that Giglio untied. But I love it. I love it. Yeah, like there's so much that goes into it. Staying consistent is... See, this is the hot mess. This is ADD. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to give you a good answer because I'm telling you it's hard for me. It is very hard. Like I said, I've tried Pocket, and I ended up either selling them or sending them back. I even ordered a Pocket and canceled the order right away because I thought, oh God, what am I doing? You know, I look at the weeks and I'll FOMO that look. I love that look. I love the tan look. I ordered a standard this year because I was going to do a standard, but once I got it and I was trying to write in the size, I was like, absolutely not. Just something my brain did not connect with. Yeah. So I'm not saying I'm 100% consistent. I'm not. I'm by no means a high pedestal, on a pedestal angel over here that does no FOMOing, because I absolutely do. Absolutely do. I try to like talk myself out of it. The standard I bought, I ended up selling the booklets less than what I paid for them because I had written in them, but it's better than nothing. I cut the standard book down into personal or Franklin Covey compact size now. And the Stalogies that I had ordered, which I forgot I'd had on auto ship on Amazon. So I have 2 Stalogies sitting in there because I thought I canceled it, but I guess I didn't. So I got another one, which is fine. I use Stalogy paper constantly. It'll be fine. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I stay consistent. It's a fight. It's a fight. It's a fight. Let's see. Oh, how often do you condition your planners and what product do you use? It's the brick conditioner. I'll link it down below. But I've only conditioned a couple of them. So I conditioned my caramel. I conditioned my Giglio Croc, which I've sold since then. I conditioned my Giglio Gold that I bought that I just could not deal with. The brown was just an off color. It's weird. When I think of gold, I think of gold undertones. It did not have gold undertones, not to me anyway. But somebody else has it and they love it, so great. Yeah, like not consistently, because again with ADD, I just forget. And what product? I said I'll link it down below. I'll put a link down below. Oh, and I don't know if I answered how long have I been, they asked 2 questions. So how long have I been planning? since the beginning of time. I'm old since the beginning of time. Gen X, we didn't plan a lot, but, and I'll tell you where my planning comes from. My youngest memories are of my grandmother sitting at the kitchen table with a yellow steno pad, planning out Christmas, holidays. My aunt and uncle regularly came down. I think they were my cousins, but in the South, aunt and uncle, whatever, came down, and she would plan out like the menu, her grocery lists, spring cleaning she would plan out on a steno pad, and she would have these steno pads stacked up and over, you know, like her little information pile. I remember that from being a kid. I lived with me and my mom lived with my grandparents till I was 16. But yeah, like, I remember that. I remember, like, my mom having, like, the little monthly book you got at the store that was, like, $1, and it was, kept her schedule in it. My grandmother had one of those. Like, I remember planning out, like, days worth of planning for, like, Thanksgiving, or when company would come, of what she was going to serve every day, you know, what we were going to serve for Thanksgiving, walking through the grocery stores, and I would check off her list for her. Like, I've been planning forever. And yeah, so all right, I think that's it, and I think that's enough because this is looking at 30 minutes. So I hope that answered all y'all's questions. If I did not answer a question, I still don't think I answered the consistency question, because I really don't have an answer. Put them down below, and I'll gladly answer them either in the comments, or if I get a bunch more questions, I'll do another Q&A before Vlogmas is over, or sometime in December. And so if this is, you're new here, like I said from the beginning, welcome to the hot mess. I hope you stick around and hang out with me. And till next time, guys. Bye.